Hello everyone, my name is Taylor Bogger and I am a reference assistant at Turdiffern Public Library. Here at Turdiffern, we are committed to providing information to you about current events and current topics. So we are starting a new series of book talks focused around socially conscious reads. For this talk, I'm going to be focusing on books that discuss race and racism in the United States, with a focus on racism against Black people. These books will provide a background from which to learn more about inequality and oppression that people of color face every day. I would like to acknowledge that as a white woman, I have tried to educate myself about this topic as much as possible. But because I am white and because I have white privilege, I will never be able to fully understand what it means to be a person of color in this nation. Here are 5 books that have really impacted my view of race and racism in this country. The first is Stamped from the Beginning, The Definitive History of Racist Ideas in America by Ibram X. Kendi. I don't know if I can recommend a book more than this one. It is an extremely ambitious work of history that looks at the 600-year tradition of oppression in the United States against Black people. It does an excellent job of tracing the history of oppression in this nation, and it provides ways for us to fight against this oppression. This is the longest work included in this video at 594 pages, but I believe it to be the most essential. You'll have a great understanding of all the history that gets left out of your textbooks, and it will give you the tools that you need to fight back against oppression. The next book is The Fire Next Time by James Baldwin. This book is a collection of 2 essays Baldwin wrote meditating on racism in America during the Jim Crow era of segregation. One essay is a letter to his nephew describing the destruction of Black men in America. The second essay focuses on the ways in which religion has impacted the Black experience in America, a topic very close to him as he was an aspiring pastor as a teen. This work of nonfiction not only will provide you with an understanding of the life of Black people in America, it will also show you how little has changed in the almost 60 years since it was published. The next book is Between the World and Me by Ta-Nehisi. This book actually draws the structure from The Fire Next Time, as it is a letter to his son. It is in part a memoir about Coates' life growing up in Baltimore, and it focuses on the ways in which his life was impacted by white supremacy, and which is inherent in American culture. He describes what it was like to grow up always aware that he was at risk of physical harm by a police officer, and the need to code switch between different neighborhoods. Ultimately, Coates argues that white supremacy is a struggle that all people will face and will not be able to overcome because it is so large a part of what America is. The fourth book I'd like to discuss is The Source of Self-Regard by Toni Morrison. This book is a collection of essays and speeches by Toni Morrison, and it includes the speech that she gave after winning the Nobel Prize in Literature. It is one of the greatest speeches that I have ever heard, and if you have not taken the time to listen to it, I highly recommend that you do. It is available through the Nobel Prizes website. The book primarily looks at the intersection of language and racism, but it does so in a way that brings to light the injustices that occur outside of just language. Her fiction, particularly The Bluest Eye, have had a profound effect on my understanding of race in this country, and I recommend that if you haven't yet picked up a book by her, you should pick up at least one as soon as you can. The final book that I'd like to discuss is Why I'm No Longer Talking to White People About Race by Reni Eddo-Lodge. This book was actually written by a British journalist, and it has a focus on race in Britain, but many of the ideas ring true in reference to racism in America. It includes one of the best examinations of white privilege that I have ever read, so if you're unsure what white privilege is, this is the book that will truly be able to open your eyes to it. She also discusses how many white people who profess to be forward-thinking still struggle to talk about race and learn from these discussions. It will make you re-examine the privilege associated with having white skin and how discussions about race are not judgmental, but helpful. These are just a few of the titles that I recommend. Other nonfiction titles that have really expanded my understanding of this topic include White Fragility, Why It's So Hard for White People to Talk About Racism by Robin DiAngelo, Tears We Cannot Stop by Michael Eric Dyson, The Blood of Emmett Till by Timothy Tyson, I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings by Maya Angelou, Just Mercy by Brian Stevenson, When They Call You a Terrorist, a Black Lives Matter memoir by Patrice Kahn-Cullors, The Autobiography of Malcolm X by Malcolm X and Alex Haley. There are a number of books that are on my to-be-read list that deal with this topic as well. These include How to Be an Anti-Racist by Ibram X. Kendi, The Next Jim Crow, Mass Incarceration in the Age of Colorblindness by Michelle Alexander. So You Want to Talk About Race by E.J. Oluo. Sister Outsider by Audre Lorde. Me and White Supremacy, Combat Racism, Change the World, and Become a Good Ancestor by Layla F. Saad. And so many more. This topic is important and far-reaching, and I urge you to explore some of these titles, but also to go beyond this list. Additionally, this list focuses on oppression of Black people in this nation, but there are a lot of important works about the oppression of other groups of people, including Asian Americans, Native Americans, Latinx people, and more. I urge you to educate yourself about the oppression of people of color in this nation. Thank you for taking the time to watch this book talk. Please connect with us on our social media pages or comment here on this YouTube video if you think there are other titles that should be included in this list.